Imagine being locked in a small, windowless room for 18 hours. You're exhausted, starving, and the air feels heavy with the smell of stale coffee and cigarettes. Across from you, a detective leans in, his voice a low, rhythmic hum. He tells you they found your DNA at a serial murder scene. He says he already knows you did it, and that if you just explain how it happened, the nightmare ends and you can finally sleep. You know you weren't there. You know you're innocent. But your mind is starting to fray at the edges, and suddenly you find yourself nodding. You start to describe the blood, you start to confess. It sounds like a scene from a psychological thriller, but it is a cold, hard reality of the justice system. Why would anyone admit to being a monster if they didn't do it? To understand this, we have to look at the strange case of Henry Lee Lucas in the 1980s. Lucas was once called the most prolific serial killer in American history because he confessed to over 600 murders. Detectives from across the country lined up at his cell door, desperate to close their cold cases. Lucas was a master of the path of least resistance. He realized that as long as he kept confessing, the police treated him like a celebrity, feeding him milkshakes and steaks. He would study the crime scene photos they showed him, feed the details back to them, and watch as they checked solved on their files. He wasn't a killer of hundreds, he was a mirror reflecting what the police wanted to see. But for many others, the confession isn't a game, it's a psychological break. Most interrogations use a method called the Reid Technique, a gauntlet designed to shatter a person's certainty. It starts with isolation, cutting you off from anyone you trust. Then comes maximization, where detectives lie and say they have irrefutable proof of your guilt. Finally, they offer minimization, a moral exit ramp. They tell you they know you're a good person who just snapped, and that confessing is the only way to get help. Under this relentless pressure, the human brain can trigger something called memory distrust syndrome. You actually begin to doubt your own memory. You start to wonder, did I black out? Is there a version of me I don't know? In that moment, the confession feels like the only truth left in the world. Take the chilling example of the Reykjavik confessions in Iceland. In 1974, 6 people were pushed into confessing to 2 murders they had absolutely nothing to do with. They were subjected 2 months of intense isolation and sensory deprivation until their minds literally created fake memories of the crimes. They didn't just lie, they genuinely believed they were killers. Decades later, DNA evidence proved their innocence, but by then they were ghosts of the people they used to be, haunted by crimes that never happened. The ultimate tragedy is that once a confession is signed, the truth often doesn't matter anymore. To a jury, a confession is the gold standard. They cannot conceive of a world where a person would lie about being a murderer. But history and science tell us a different story. The human mind is a fragile thing. Under enough pressure, the line between reality and suggestion vanishes. We aren't just capable of lying to save ourselves. We are capable of lying to destroy ourselves, trading our freedom for the simple, desperate relief of a lie.